Okay, we have to decompose this into partial fraction. So the first thing you need to do is to state that 3x plus 1 over 2x plus 1, x minus 1, then x plus 2 must be equivalent to, since we are breaking them into partial, so we have 3 terms on the denominator that are not repeatable. So what we are just going to have is a over 2x plus 1 plus b over x minus 1, then plus c, which is x plus 2. Okay, so what we have to do here is to multiply both sides, both the right and left hand side, by this common denominator. So this is common denominator. So if we multiply it out, if we multiply from this side, there's no space here. This side we cancel out. So we have 3x plus 1 equals, so if we multiply, if we use this to multiply this, while doing that, we have a, so this is going to cancel out the 2x plus 1. So you have x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 2. Okay, then plus b. So b, the denominator is going to cancel out this denominator here. So you are going to have 2x plus 1, then x plus 2. Okay, then for c, plus c. So c, of course, this is going to cancel out. You already know the pattern. So plus 1, then x minus 1. Okay, so let's expand. So we have 3x plus 1 equals, we use this to multiply this, and this to multiply this, and this to multiply this, and this to multiply this. You can do that. However, you can also make a smarter way by doing what? Cancelling out any of the terms. Okay, so for instance, I want to make a to be 0 so that I can find b or c, or I want to make both a and b to be 0 so I can find c. So whichever one that works for you. So for me, I want to make I want to cancel out a and c because they have common factor, right? So I have -1 here and I have -1 here. So if I make them 0, this a and c we cancel out. So I will say let me clean this. I'll say let x be equals to 1. So by doing that, I will now substitute 3 multiplied by 1 plus 1 equals a. I have 1 minus 1, then 1 plus 2. Okay, so literally this is 0, then plus b. I have 2 by 1 plus 1, then I have 1 plus 2. Then for c, plus c, which is 2 by 1 plus 1, then 1 minus 1. Okay, so this is going to give me 4. So I have 4 equals, now I have -1 minus 1 is 0. So 0 multiplied by this is 0, and this also multiplied by a is also 0. So this is 0, this is 0, right? So we now have b left. So we now have b, we now have 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. Then we have b by 3. Then we now have also 3 here, okay? So we have 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. So we have 4 equals 9b, right? Divide both sides by 9, divide both sides by 9. So we now have 4 over 9 equals b, right? Okay, so let's also do the same thing for c or a, whichever one we want to do. We can say, okay, for c, we want to get c, we can say let x be -2. So we can cancel out a and cancel out b because they have common factors here, right? So that will be for c, let x be equals to -2. Okay, so if s is -2, so this will cancel out and this also cancel out. So we now have this left. So we now have negative, so s is -2. So -2 times 3 is going to give -6 plus 1 equals. Then we are now dealing with c. So we now have c in the bracket of -2 times 2 is equals to -4 plus 1 is going to give you -3. Then we now have -2 minus 3. So it's going to give us -3. So this will give us -5 over -9c. Then divide by -9, -9. So C is going to be 5 over 9 equals to C. Okay? Okay, so we need to find what is going to make this and this to be 0, right? So we can easily say 2x plus 1 equals 0. So now I say 2x equals negative 1, then x equals negative 1 over 2. So we say let x equals negative 1 over 2. So if we substitute it into this is going to give us 0. This is going to give us 0. So here we now have, for a, we now have 3 negative 1 over 2, then plus 1 equals a multiplied by negative 1 over 2 minus 1, then multiplied by negative 1 over 2 plus 2. Don't know if you can see it. Okay. So basically, if we do this is going to give us 3 over 2 plus 1 equals a is going to be, this multiplied by this is going to give us negative 2. Negative 1 minus negative 2, you got negative 3. So this will give us a negative 3 over 2. And this time this will give us 4. So this will give us 3 over 2, right? So we now have, this time this will give us 2. This will give us 5 over 2 equals a. We now have negative a. We now have negative 9 over 4, right? So we now have 5 over 2. This is going to give us negative 9 over 4a, right? So we can say this multiplied by this will give us 20 equals, this times this negative 18a. So divide by negative 18a, negative 18 rather. So 2 here will give us 10, 2 here will give us 9. So you have negative 10 over 9 equals a. So negative 10 over 9 equals a. So let's substitute this into this, let's substitute the value of this constant into this expression. So now substituting, we now have our a. A is what? It's negative 10 over 19. So you have 10 over 2x plus 1, all right? So we can say, if you check, you can see that b has the denominator to be negative 9, and also c also have the denominator to be negative 9. So, and a also have the denominator to be negative 9. So you can put them outside. So you have negative 1 over 9 equals a. Remember that a is minus, so you put your minus here. Then plus b. B is 4 over x minus 1. Then c plus 5 over x plus 2. So, and this is the partial fraction of this fraction they ask us to decompose. It's a little bit of work, but you can do it in any other way. Like, you can also do system of equation to get the value of a, b, and c.